from the Today Show, Katie Couric and Matt Lauer.
Full hour with the cast of the great movie I Am Sam that opens later this week, and Sean Penn I definitely think should win the Oscar for that performance. Unbelievably great film. But our Today Show hour starts now. Hello. Our first guests go together in the morning like a bagel with cream cheese, or scrambled eggs and hash browns, or peanut butter and root beer. Please welcome back to the show, Katie Couric and Matt Lauer. Katie?
Wait a second. Wait a second.
What? Yes, look who's here.
Lenny.
Lenny's here.
It's Lenny from the Today Show. It's our favorite guest outside the studio every morning. Lenny, how are you?
He's kind of your Mrs. Miller.
He really is, Lenny. And Lenny has a cohort who he hangs out with, who we call Albert Einstein, who looks... Where's he?
Lenny wants some more airtime for himself.
He's
Get rid of Albert.
Yeah,
nice
we asked
you.
Lenny to do the opening announce, and he didn't want to.
He didn't?
No.
I can't believe it.
He's a diehard devotee for you. He didn't want to have anything to do with art.
Well, you know, it's so funny because so many people ask me, who is Lenny and what's he doing there? So much so that I suggested we do a big segment on Lenny and why he hangs out on the plaza so much.
Right, yeah.
He didn't want to do the segment, though. He said what he really wants to do is direct.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, like everybody else. Well, it's nice to have fans.
Oh, it is, and he's a diehard fan. We appreciate it.
Do you see a lot of the same people there, like more than, you know, Lenny and Albert?
No, pretty much those are the two that we see on a regular basis. It's actually fun, though. Sometimes someone will come one year and you know, we've been doing the show too long when they'll say, hi, this is a picture that I took with my new baby and you, and now my child is 10 years old. Can we take another picture?
Yeah,
so some people do kind of see it as a rite of passage and come, you know, every couple of years or even every year sometimes.
Yeah, and it's always funny when you see yourself, how you looked, and you're always shocked, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because I'm always shocked. Like, I'll see a picture with somebody, this I took outside the stage door, and I think, oh, I can't believe that I thought I looked fat then and I was thinner than I am now. Do you know what I mean?
Or you say, gosh, I look so dated, and then you think we look so au courant now, and in about 5 years we're going to look back at ourselves now and say, oh my God, what was I thinking?
Exactly right. Do you remember your first day on the job?
Oh, God, I remember it was yesterday. I just went through my 5-year anniversary, so we kind of relived this a short while ago.
There you go.
And I remember Bryant left on a Friday. It was a big farewell show, and I began to get nervous from Friday. I couldn't sleep all weekend. I came on Monday morning, and Katie was there and just made me feel so at home. I remember the first she looked and said, look, I'll lead this kid, all right? You hang with me. And they came on, and they did this thing with the announce where they mentioned my name like 4 or 5 times, broke the ice, but I was petrified.
Were you really?
Scared to death. You know, the show was on a roll, and all I could think of is after this week, the ratings are going to fall through the floor, and they're going to say, there's one reason for this. There's only one new element here, and it's you, and they point a finger at me. I was scared to death.
And obviously that didn't happen. And you know what was great about having Matt for a number of reasons, but the transition was so seamless because he was part of our family, which we call the Manson family at times, you know, from the get-go because he was the newsreader. So it was really effortless for him to kind of move over. And he had substituted for Brian on several occasions when Bryant was on vacation. So it was really very easy.
It was pretty painless to be honest. I was just nervous personally, but it was a painless transition.
How about your first day? Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. I remember I was 4 months pregnant, and I woke up. I had a miserable cold. I think I got a bloody nose that morning, and I almost threw up when I was brushing my teeth.
Excellent!
Yeah. You know when you're pregnant, and sometimes when you brush your teeth, and that gag reflex happens?
Yeah, that happened to me. Yeah. Oh, I adopted. I'm sorry, I forgot. Yeah.
But anyway, I just remember it was just one of those mornings where it could not have been a worse morning for me because I just felt so miserable.
Were you nervous as well, or not?
Oh, are you kidding? I was as petrified as Matt was, if not more, because I had never really anchored that much. I first started filling in and doing some newscasts on the Today Show, and I had very little experience because I had been a reporter for most of my career, and I was extremely nervous, very, very nervous. Plus, it was a weird time for the show because the Deborah Norville, Jane Pauley thing had just happened, so it was an awkward time for the show in many ways. So yes, I was very nervous.
And we have a clip of you on your first day.
Oh, how great.
Yes, we do. Take a look. Katie Couric's first day.
Good morning and welcome to Today on a Friday morning and to a new chapter of Today. How did it sound?
Sounded good, but I still can't decide whether I'm Catherine or Katie.
No, Alex, re-rack it for us, right?
Catherine Couric.
One more time, Alex.
Catherine Couric.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
That was a nice Dorothy Hamill hairdo.
The question is, though, when did Catherine become Katie?
Yeah, when?
How far into your tenure did you go by Katie and stop the Catherine
Well, you
thing?
know, what happened was, believe it or not, looking at me now, I used to look really young when I started out in this business, and I thought that Catherine gave me a little more dignity and integrity, so I used Catherine, particularly at the Pentagon. You know, you don't want to be Katie Couric at the Pentagon. So then I think I just realized no matter how hard I tried, I just wasn't a Catherine, I was a Katie. But man, was that hair heinous or what?
Well, you know, it's a little like Flock of Seagulls meets Dorothy Hamill. It's sort of, but I had the same exact hair at the time. So.
I remember some man writing me a letter, and he was so mean. He said how ugly my clothes were. I have to concur, that dress from Pea in the Pod. Ugh. But, and then Pea in the Pod, though, does have nice maternity clothes. So, but he said, in your hair, it looks like a ski slope for an adventurous sparrow. And you know, he was right.
Wow, but
really
that's
awful.
very poetic insult,
yes,
you know?
it was.
You almost don't mind it coming like that.
Oh, I minded it.
Katie can't remember what she had for breakfast yesterday, yet she remembers those words verbatim from 10 years ago.
I was so ticked when I got that letter.
Do you ever forget who's on, like that night you go home to your wife and the baby, and does she go, oh, I didn't see who was on the third hour? You forget?
You know, but that happens a lot. Yes, the answer is yes, because with live television, we have 6 interviews a day, sometimes 7. You know, it sounds weird. Your brain can't hold that much, and so as you go,
brain can't hold
as you go from day to, I'm not letting go. As you go from day to day, you know, you have to find a way to kind of just flush some stuff out of there. So yeah, she'll say to me all the time, "Who was in the first half hour? Who was in the 8 o'clock?" I don't know. Get the tape.
Don't remember.
I have no idea.
The question is, why isn't Annette watching?
She
got the
watches other
baby.
show.
Yeah. How's the baby, Matt?
I don't even get me started because I'm going to just turn to mush.
Yeah.
He is the cutest little boy.
Yeah.
He is 7 months old today, I think. He is the cutest little thing. Rosie, he doesn't walk yet, obviously, but all he wants to do is you hold him by his hands and you put him down, and his feet aren't even big enough to support him. He just walks through the house like this. That's all he does. And when you see him doing it, he goes,
Are you taking videos?
No, I'm taking pictures.
Come on.
Oh, you have to take some video.
The iMovie thing?
No, I have to do that, but I have digital cameras, so that's even bad because people say, let me see pictures, and I don't have them because they're all on the computer, but now we bought a printer so we can do it, but I am
I'm going to hook you up after the show. I'm going to let you see this iMovie thing.
Yeah.
I have my kids' entire life documented.
You do?
In film, every single event in movies, and they're on DVDs. You can burn your own DVD.
You've already lost me.
Oh, really?
You're past my
All right,
technical
well,
expertise.
we'll obviously have a 3-hour course then.
Okay,
We'll
good.
sit down. It's the 50th anniversary of this wonderful Today Show. We're going to take a break, come back with these two, and have some other people join us.
Still ahead, Al Roker and Ann Curry.
And coming up in this half hour, we're going to talk about
The late John F. Kennedy Jr.'s dream was to publish a successful, start reading this, I'm going to sneeze.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Magazine. Now, less than 2 years after his death, George is folding. We're going to have details.
All right, that's your latest weather. Now here's Mr. Lauer.
Another satisfied customer.
I don't know if it's because of my ancestry or not, but I am going for this wasabi dip because it is good. I mean, I'm
But you're
telling
talking
you.
like you're someone from Harlem right now.
No, I'm trying to be from the South, but no.
You get down, girlfriend.
Well, our next two guests have only been permanent fixtures on the Today Show since 1996 and 97. It feels like we've known them all our lives. Please welcome the always delightful Al Roker and Ann Curry.
pretty well.
Good to see you.
Bags of wheat thins in the back.
Yeah, yeah. Katie brought over some snacks from the segment today, right?
Yeah, that's right.
We'll do those. Yeah, we'll do those later.
Okay.
But you know, I'm familiar with the colored food because I have all the little kids.
Oh, that's right.
So we have the colored food all the time at our house.
You know, you keep saying this to black people. It doesn't sound right. You know,
Yeah,
the whole
the
colored
purple
thing.
ketchup I meant is the only thing. No offense, you know.
Okay, all right.
Now, your first day on the job, Ann, do you remember?
I remember being, as everybody else is, so exceedingly nervous. But, you know, I'd been filling in for, I think, a matter of months because I was filling in for Matt. Well, he was doing a lot of filling in for Bryant. And these three made me feel so welcomed. And that, I think that took a lot of the edge off.
Yeah, and how about you? Remember the first day?
Well, you know, because it was in the late 1980s, because I was filling in for Willard. I remember the first time I filled in for Willard, and it was just, you know, I grew up in New York and the Today Show, and here you are, and I mean, it was pretty nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I was trying hard not to perspire. But,
Right.
It was like broadcast news, you know,
it's
up
not
and
very
down your
pretty.
arms.
You had the flop sweats?
Yeah, I basically would put a bay leaf under each arm, and it smelled like chicken soup.
Chicken soup. There you go. Well, we have a clip. Sadly, we don't have the scent aroma thing. We do have a clip. Take a look at Al's first day at the Today Show.
Back at 7:25, since Al's the new kid on the block. They'll pick on him.
Uh-oh.
Well, Jane just picked up something over there, and I mean, almost tore her arm out. Your wallet.
Well.
You know how I knew it was Al's wallet? You open it up, and I told him,
Clever little devil, you.
this is either Al's wallet or it belongs to Al's biggest fan.
Yeah.
One ID.
You got a lot of ID.
Hey, you know, people saying, who's this guy? I was new. I had to let people know who I
Yeah,
was.
they know it's you.
Yeah.
It's funny when I go in the mall and people go, you look, with no makeup, you look like Rosie O'Donnell. I go, I am. No, you're not. Yes, I am. No, you're not. Yes, I am. And then I take out my ID. They go, where'd you get that? I go, it's my license. It's not, but you do a good impression of it. Exactly.
You're good.
So, you know, Ann, I started yoga. I know you're a yoga person.
Love yoga.
Can you
How do
believe
you
that,
feel?
Katie?
How long
can't
have you
believe
been
that.
doing it?
I can't either. I've been doing it for about 3 months, and I do it now every other day.
Because I was going to say, you look fabulous.
Do you think?
I do.
Well, I feel like, seriously, I'm more emotional. I cry like at the drop of a hat. And the yoga guy said that's from yoga.
What?
Do you think? Look at Katie going, what?
No, apparently you're supposed to be. I mean, I don't know. Apparently you're supposed to be more connected to your feelings and more relaxed. I know. Don't vomit on me, okay, Katie?
Well, Katie doesn't get it.
No, it's
whatever.
No, I think I don't want to be more emotional, but I would like to be more flexible. So I think yoga sounds good.
Well, I didn't do it to be more emotional. I did to be more flexible, but all of a sudden I'm like watching a commercial going, this is so horrible.
But Rosie,
you know, the Campbell's soup commercial.
So just before you get into the actual exercise, what do you... What kind of instructor do you have?
I'm the mother of 4.
Okay,
Come on.
She's a role model.
I'm a role model.
And so were you.
And that's why she won't do 2 shows a night.
But he does say, like, you know, he says, I don't know if it's true, that, like, you have different chakras. Do you believe that stuff?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think yoga sounds fantastic, and honestly, I really would like to do it. I just don't have time, but
Yeah.
I want to discipline myself and make myself take
I
it
would
up.
love it if you came to one of the classes. I don't even know chakra. I don't even. But you know what? There's a place nearby that has 2 classes. I just follow their instructions, do what they have, you know, and it really makes you feel. It's like better than getting a massage.
Wasn't
Can you
Chakra
believe
Khan
that?
with Rufus?
Yeah,
No.
Tell me something good.
Yeah, tell me something good.
But they have so many, well, we don't have to talk that much about yoga, but they have those intense, like, where the room is 110 degrees and you just sweat like crazy.
Well, I don't do that
Extreme yoga.
because I just do regular yoga and I sweat like you can't believe. And at first he said to me, this is going to be, because sometimes I do the bike like for 40 minutes.
Right.
And I said to him, I can do the bike for 40 minutes. And he goes, oh, well, then this is going to be much harder for you. And I'm like, right. Stand like this. How hard is that? You're drenched in sweat. And you feel like such a loser because you can't put your leg on your thigh, you know? But now
I've been there.
Yeah. I'm getting better at it, though. I'm
Most
getting
people
better.
want to see Europe. I look down, I want to see my feet.
Believe me, I understand, Al. I understand. So the whole audience got the incredible edible egg 50th anniversary edition today. If I have to go, starting with you, Matt, most unforgettable guest or interview of your career there, what would you say?
Oh, God. I thought we did an interview with Monica Lewinsky one time that was a little bit unusual, and it was one of the first interviews I've done where I said, you know, thank you very much for being here. We'll go to commercial, be right back. And before I even said we'll be right back, she was out of the couch, storming out of the studio.
No kidding. She was angry?
She was not happy. She
Yeah.
was not pleased with the way the interview had gone. And
do you know what's interesting? She apparently did some documentary that a friend of mine was in the audience that's going to be on, I think, Showtime or something, and answered all kinds of questions because her immunity thing is over.
Right.
It's going to air sometime in the near future. And he said she was unbelievably sort of poised and different than he had expected.
She was very poised. I thought so.
Yeah. He almost felt bad for her, he said. Which, I don't know. I can't wait to see it, but who knows. How about you? Most memorable interview? Do you have one?
I've several. No, I'm kidding. I think that probably when George Bush walked into the White House when I was getting a tour from Mrs. Bush and sort of I had to fly by the seat of my pants and interview him for about 20 minutes. That was sort of where I saw my career flash before my eyes, and I thought I would run out of things to ask him because I hadn't prepared anything. Then I would say, what's your favorite room here at the White House? Or, how do you like the food here? And
exactly.
Luckily, I kind of kept thinking of questions sort of off
But
the
you had
top
no
of my
idea
head.
that he was going to walk
I didn't. In fact, for some reason, I thought he was out of town, but then I heard Ranger. Coming into the room, and then sure enough, the president was following close behind.
I was going to say, what does that mean? What does Ranger mean?
It's a little Springer Spaniel. Remember they had Millie and Ranger, I think? They had 2 Springer Spaniels. I'm sorry, that was the sound of nails. Can you do it for me? Like puppy nails on the...
I thought you meant he was maybe doing a dance, like a group Ranger. I'm here.
You thought it was talking about the Lone Ranger. He came in on a horse or something. No. But anyway, that was, and I think also the Columbine interview I did where the father of one of the boys who had been killed and the brother of one of the girls sort of talked about it, their whole experience, and it was very raw for them, and that was an extremely moving thing to just witness.
I'll never forget when the 9/11, when we were here, and John had called because his friend saw the plane go in and said it was an American Airlines plane, and we had the Today Show on, and I remember you didn't really break in. You said, there's a small accident at first, remember?
Right.
There's a small plane we think is hit, and then who was it, Janice Huff or somebody?
Yes, it was Janice Huff.
Janice Huff said, I saw another plane. That was another plane when the second one hit. Sort of never forget that visually. You two are so connected to that in my mind.
That was so shocking. That was such a shocking morning because we watched it in horror along with the rest of the world. And I remember I was sitting between Al and Matt, and my hand started shaking, and I mouthed to Al when Matt was talking, I said, what in the world is going on here? It was so terrifying.
Yeah, I actually got sick I got sick right after. I threw up right after it. I was so overwhelmed. I remember got my kids like everyone else and went home, and I just got sick the whole day and had to go to bed because I couldn't believe it.
And then as the story unfolded throughout the morning, and they'd say another plane is down. We heard this. Mick was reporting from the Pentagon and said an explosion. Then we getting a wire saying that another plane has gone down in a field in Pennsylvania. Bob Hager saying several planes are still unaccounted for. It was just surreal.
People were crying in the studio. Camera people, stage managers, just tears running down their faces. The first time I've ever seen anything like that. It was unreal.
Yeah, it's a very difficult job you guys do, and you pull it off very well, because I definitely know I could never do it. We're going to take a break, come back, more with the Today Show right after this break. Don't go away.
What a girl wants, what a girl needs.
Come on over, baby.
They tell me that you're leaving. I can't believe it's true.
Beach baby,
And those are Holland.
baby, give me your hand, give me something that I can remember.
Okay, yeah, we got it.
We gotta go.
Touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you.
The vibrato in his voice.
Yeah, that was probably a fear-based bravado.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, what the heck am I going to do? This is going to sound so bad. Not as bad as the time we all sang with Stevie Wonder.
With Stevie Wonder, that was bad.
We sang backup.
What'd you sing? What song? You remember?
For Your Love, I Will Do Anything.
It was just
He came in the morning and he didn't have backup singers, and they honestly asked us if we would do it, and we got together in the makeup room and we said, should we? And we all thought, it'll be fun. Let's do it.
Yeah.
It was so brutal. Oh, you've never.
I think about it. I just.
Yeah, it makes the hair on your neck stand up.
Bad. I wish we have that clip. You don't give that out, do you?
We burned every copy.
Every copy. You should have called me. I would have ran down there and done backup.
Yes.
It's like the thrill of my life.
You're much better than us. Gosh.
No, but any of you ever not make it at 7? Anybody like come close to not being there?
Oh, come close? Oh, now you've opened up a whole new
Oh!
Anyway, so Ann, you didn't talk about your favorite
Katie
moment.
Couric.
What time did you get in today?
But you know what's funny? It's great. Then you see she gets in, and this whole team is like, code red. Katie's there. They put her up on the lift, and then they're spinning her around.
It's like the scene from The Wizard of Oz. Brush, brush here, brush, brush, brush.
I could not wake up this morning.
It just takes you less time to get up and ready. That's the bottom line.
Yeah,
right?
that's it. I don't wear any makeup. I just go right on. But no, I have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning, Rosie. It's just really...
I can understand. I mean, the year one of this show, I would get up at 6 and be here by 6:15. Now the show's live at 10. I'm here at 9:40, and they throw it on. I go, you got 15 minutes, whatever you can do, and that's it. Because it's true. It's hard to get up that. What time do you get up, Matt, every day?
Oh, please.
No, he does though. Matt is the first one.
I get up at 4. And so I'm there by 10 to 5.
Because you pick up the Krispy Kremes, right?
Exactly. And I'm there 10 to 5 every morning, almost obnoxiously punctual.
Right.
And Katie rolls in at about 6:25.
No, lately I've been trying to get there at like 6:15.
Yeah.
Which makes all the difference.
It's nerve-wracking. You're there in the morning, you're thinking, you think she's going to join us this morning? She's got half the segments today.
One time my alarm didn't go off, and for some reason, because the guy who drives me to work every day is the same person, he always phones me to make sure that I am, coming down.
Yeah.
And I woke up one morning, I looked at the clock, it's 6:39.
Oh, that's scary.
It was really scary. I mean, my heart was, and oh, sorry, that's my mic. And I went so fast, and I just looked super gnarly, because I got in at 5 of 7 to do the show, and they just went, and that was it. That was scary.
One time, Willard actually almost missed the show. He ran out. He had his jacket on, and all of a sudden, he has the driver have to radio ahead. He came out almost naked. He had just put it, seriously, he just had his coat on. He had no pants on, and just a shirt. And they had somebody else's jacket. They had to split it up the back.
No, that's because he was going to the movies.
Okay.
There goes your role model status.
Yeah, exactly right.
America's sweetheart.
Right there. We're going to take a break. Come back. Are we playing a game next? I think we are. Show.
You do it.
All right. You four seem to get along so well, we decided to change all that by pitting you against each other in a game called It's a Draw. You'll each have 30 seconds to draw pictures communicating the titles of current, listen to this, important, current NBC shows. Your teammate has to guess them. And remember, drawings only, no letters or numbers allowed. Katie's team is playing to win a Pictionary game right here for the center of the audience. Thank you, Ann. Matt and Ann are playing to win for the side sections of the audience, but if you watch the show, you know everyone will get one regardless. All right. Katie, you're first. Back up. Come on over here, Al. You're guessing.
Okay.
Let me, right here, show you what you have to draw. Okay. A hit NBC show. 30 seconds. Go!
Third watch.
Yes, Al! Excellent! All right. Katie and Al go again now, yes? Come on, Katie and Al, keep going.
Does Al draw or I draw?
Who draws? Katie again. See how prepared I am? Go.
Happy face. Wash. Wash. Third wash. No, I already said watch. Washing.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. That's okay.
Can I tell him what it was?
Yeah, that was Scrubs. But that was a hard one. That was a hard one.
Scrub.
All right, Matt, your
you're
turn.
going to get so smoked.
Come on over here. Here we go.
Okay. I was trying to do scrubbing the floor.
You're good.
Okay.
That's 1 point. Now we got 30.
You want to draw?
Ann's going to draw. All right,
Wait,
Ann.
but keep in mind, I don't watch a lot of television. You sure?
I don't watch a lot of television.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
You sure?
Right.
Just draw the picture.
Wait.
All right, you want to draw? You go over there, so you can't go over there, so you can't.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, here we go. 30 seconds. Go.
Okay.
Oh, I know this one.
Those people.
Actually, they look like
Peacock.
butts.
The Fear Factor. This is the other half. This is. These are
The
babies.
Naked News, it looks like.
These are. That's Katie and me to start the show. That's the Today Show. That's the.
I know.
Yes, Al.
Dateline NBC.
But you don't get the point. All right.
Peacock.
All right, come on. Al, you're drawing. Al, you're drawing. Yes, Al's turn to draw. Rip. It's 1-0.
Okay.
Here we go, Al.
Okay.
All right. You got 30 seconds. Ready?
Okay.
Go. No letters or numbers.
Bird. Feathers. Feathered nest. Is there a show like that? Wings. Wings. Something
NBC
wings.
show.
NBC show.
Wings.
Can't
Wings.
talk.
Wings. West Wing.
Yes! Here, go!
Can I go again?
Oh, only one, Al. All right, 2 points for your team, Matt. It's your turn to draw. West Wing. Wings hasn't been on for 8 years.
I know, I'm sorry. You have magic marker all over your
I
nose.
do?
Oh,
All
yeah,
right,
you
that's
do.
all right. For
Okay.
you guys. All right, this one, it says Ann, but it's you, Matt.
Okay.
Okay,
I didn't
here
know
we
it
go.
was
30
singular
seconds.
wing.
You got to get 2 to tie. Go.
Hollywood squares. Going that way. A person going in a square. People together. Tic-tac-toe. What? Okay. A news program, the Today Show.
Yes! Keep going! Keep going!
Okay, more. Okay, really bad profile.
Oh, and that would be 2-1, and the winner is Katie and Al! Too hard.
I was trying
That
to
was
get a
ER.
That's hard with no letters.
But look what you had next, Frasier, so you would have lost anyway. Ann has to go interview Billy Bob Thornton,
That's
so
right.
you go. Go play pool with him. And we're going to be back with questions from the audience right after this. I loved you in Orlando. It's like that wasn't me. Oops. Hello, back with the Today Show cast. We've got internet questions from the audience. How about from Carolyn in Ohio? What was your most embarrassing moment on the show?
I had a guy had a sign that said, "Jill, will you marry me?" And I thought, oh, that's great. I'll go do this. And my executive producer, Jeff, is saying, don't go to him. But I'm going anyway.
Right.
So I go up and I said, so you want to marry Jill? And he goes, well, I really care about Jill, but I love Jeff more. And with that, turns to the guy next to him and gives him a big, big, open-mouth kiss.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So he like baited you to come over?
Me, and there was this woman who had a sign next to him that said, if Jill says no, I'll say yes. And I looked at it and I said, your sign's a moot point.
Exactly.
Also, I think, didn't you do a proposal where the guy called the woman and she said no?
Yeah. First she said, I'm not sure. And I said, well, she didn't turn you down. And then you hear, you know what? No. And it was on Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
You know, he had that look on his face, you know, kind of like when Lee Harvey Oswald got, you know, like the,
oh, yeah, not good.
Not good.
How about you, Matt? Most embarrassing?
I was doing an interview with Claire Danes and talking to her about her movies, and then at the end of the interview, we decided to talk a little bit about her going to college. And I think she was going to Yale or Harvard, one of the two. And I said, you know, is it difficult for you? She goes, as a matter of fact, I'm a little scattered this morning because I'm working on a major paper that's due tomorrow, so it's kind of a weird time. And just to be cute, I said to her, so what's the paper on? I can help you on it. And she said, actually, it's on masturbation.
Oh!
And I thought, well, you know, you're an actress. You could have made something up here.
Exactly. Exactly.
You didn't have to, blurt that out. So, where do you go from there?
What did you say? Did you just like?
He said, "This is today on NBC."
We'll be back.
Exactly right. How about you, Katie? Most embarrassing?
I guess probably the one. It was about 7 years ago, and I was interviewing Bobcat Goldthwait.
Yes.
Is that his name?
Yes, that's his name.
And I for some reason in my research I didn't see the part where it said that he screams. So all through the interview he was yelling, and I kept saying, "Why are you yelling?"
Oh no!
And so
and he went, "That's my act."
Yeah. Well, he totally cut me to shreds. But anyway, that was sort of embarrassing. There have been so many embarrassing moments, I can't even remember them all.
Well, I had Sting and his wife, and I said, "You were so great in the film Buster," and he said, "Who's Phil Collins?" And I'm like, "Oh my God!"
Well, you did the same thing to Kate Blanchett.
I know, but at least Kate Blanchett was, Orlando and Elizabeth, they're sort of similar films. They were out at the same time, and she was sort of nice, but he was like, "I can't believe you think I'm Phil Collins!" Like, oh my Lord. Jonathan from North Carolina, which one of you gets teased the most and about what? I don't know from who. It's like we're in
we all tease each other.
Since she's not here anymore.
Dan.
I think we're equal opportunity teasers, so we all like to poke fun at each other in a good-natured way. Don't you think? Most of the time.
Yeah.
Matt, are you a big fan of doing the Where in the World is Matt Lauer? Would you rather not go?
I have been a big fan of it, but it's grueling. It's a killer trip, and so we're not going to do exactly that this year. We're going to try and find something else. I think a lot of it has to do. I don't want to leave the family for a year.
It's going to be wearing Matt's
it seems like a year.
Yeah.
But it's we've been to some amazing places. It's been great. 4 years of it, 20 locations all around the world. Mount Everest, Great Wall. It's been
and it's not only grueling, but and I'm not just sucking up because I don't really have to, but Matt does such a fantastic job on that trip.
Really
I mean, first of all, he operates on very little sleep, no teleprompter, and I don't know about you, without teleprompter, I'm lost. And he can, basically, he's just flawless in his delivery. He does a really outstanding job.
And go on some more.
Yeah, go on.
He does.
That's nice.
Is there any celebrity that has left you tongue-tied? I guess that would be Claire Danes for you. And Bob Goldthwait for you, perhaps, with the screaming. No, not really, because everybody sort of has something to sell, right? Something to talk about. Anything that you have said you wouldn't do? Any story that you said, "I can't cover that"?
There are a couple of interviews I've said I prefer not to do it, and then, and Katie and I sometimes go back and forth, and do you want to do it? Do I want to do it? I don't want to do it. Do you want to do it? I remember, one or two that come to mind that, to be honest, I prefer not to say. But, the show either then decides to do them or not do them.
Yeah. But you have leeway to tell them if you're not comfortable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Well, Katie, I was telling you at the break, I thought the Dateline last night with the Andrea Yates thing and the postpartum was really wonderful. I think.
Well, I was really happy to do that. I did a piece on postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis where I interviewed women who had suffered from PPD, only because I think it is a serious problem that affects 15% of all new mothers. And I felt like it's one of those taboo subjects. First of all, they're so embarrassed to say that they had these feelings of, either anxiety or were afraid they were going to hurt their baby and all these things. And there are ways to help these people. So I think when we could do something like that on television and do a real public service, I'm so gratified.
Yeah, and I think it was. And that woman, it's a horrific thing she did, but my God, what kind of emotional state she must have been in order to get there.
It's a tough, Rosie and I were talking, it's a tough story because you look at the faces of those 5 children.
My God, I just think what she was going through, too, was unbearable. But we'll be back with the Today Show, and they turn 50. The Today Show turns 50 on Monday. Watch it. Bye!